Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Caswell Cooke Show. You'll have to excuse me. I've been running around all week. I haven't even shaved, but it's live. It's live. I was going to say TV, but it's live internet, and we have lots of background noises because we are coming to you live from the Misquamicut Beach Drive In, because our guest that we're going to be bringing on tonight is going to be here at the drive-in on Saturday night. So we're here in Misquamicut Beach, and you may be watching us on the Caswell Cooke Show page. You may be watching us on the Misquamicut Beach Facebook page or YouTube page or the drive-in page. So if you are watching us tonight, type in the comments where you're watching from. And if you ever come to Misquamicut Beach, and if you plan on coming to Misquamicut Beach this weekend. So it gives me great pleasure to bring on my guest tonight, Kristine DeBell. Ben, bring her on. How are you?
Hi, I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Well, you know, we're getting ready for you to come visit us.
And I'm very excited about that.
I thought you were going to say you're very scared about that.
No. I'm thrilled. I'm excited to be there.
Well, we want to treat you to a little bit of life at the beach this weekend. We want to thank the Pleasant View Inn, which is the hotel of choice, and it overlooks the ocean. So you'll have an ocean view this weekend. And there's a lot of friendly people here in Westerly, Rhode Island, Misquamicut Beach. So let's get to why you're coming down here. We're going to be playing one of the movies that you were a co-star in. Tell us what movie we're showing Saturday night.
You are showing Meatballs.
And well, there's some pictures we're already showing on the screen. There's you and Bill Murray.
There I am.
So you know, this was a huge movie in your career. It's definitely a classic, a cult classic. There's many words to describe it. In fact, the guy who his daughter works here, he all summer long, all he's been talking about is the fact that you're coming and that we're showing this movie, because we've never shown Meatballs before at the drive-in. So you must get that a lot, people, when they come to a Comic-Con or one of the events that you do. What are some of the things that people say to you about that movie?
Well, when I've done Chiller, they actually come in costume. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? You dressed as Morty and as the dark-haired girl. Her name was Maureen, but I can't think of her character at the moment. But I mean, I've met people that have said I play Meatballs on the roof of my building that he lives in California the beginning of every summer, and I get the same messages on my on my fan pages, things like, it's not summer until the entire family watches Meatballs.
Well, because, so many people over the years have had that sort of summer camp experience. I mean, in one way or another. And I mean, that movie just epitomizes that reality. We got Jeff Hutton. Pretty cool, Caswell. This is really cool. Okay, well, that's good. We like to keep the comments coming while we're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
You were a model. And was Meatballs your first, big movie, or what was, how did you come to arrive at being in this movie?
Well, it's interesting because people ask me that. Oh, did I know? I don't think anyone knew that it would end up becoming a cult classic. But it was just like any other audition. My agent says, "Oh, you got to be here at this time." So I show up, and I honestly don't even remember the audition, but I do remember the phone call that said she has the part. So yeah, and it was pretty exciting. There were four of us from the States. Russ Banham, who plays Crockett, he was from New York, but the rest of us were from and Bill obviously was from New York, but the rest of the two other, myself and Wheels, were from LA.
We just had a question. We just had a question pop up on the screen. What's your favorite scene from Meatballs?
My favorite scene is the one I talked about this earlier, how it was just the whole movie became very improvisational, which I love. Bill, which was what Bill is about, right? And Ivan was like, yeah. So the girls' cabin scene, the later one, not the one with the third grade girls or whatever, the later one where I'm crawling across the floor, and then we hear Fink under the. That was, I said, how about this, Ivan? He goes, yeah, that's great. And the popping our heads out behind the tree, I'm like, let's do it like this. And he's like, that's amazing. You know what I mean? It was just so creative in that way. It's like, I have an idea, someone else has an idea, Ivan says, oh, let's try, all of us. It was a lot of
So
fun.
when you were doing this movie, was Bill Murray a big deal? I mean, he had not really been he was in
Bill,
Saturday Night Live.
Bill
But,
who? No. Yeah, but you had to, I think he just started on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know that I saw it from the very beginning. I wasn't a big television watcher, but someone would say, oh, have you seen Saturday Night Live? And then, suddenly they have a huge audience. But no, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about it. No, just seemed like, maybe Bill knew that he was going to be huge, and I just felt like we were all just like a bunch of actors having a great time.
well, it was funny. Well, we just had another question. What was it like working with Ivan Reitman? Well, you just kind of said that he let you do what you wanted.
Yeah, someone mentioned I did a Canadian fundraiser where they got a group of us back together, and someone said, "Oh, well, it was, Ivan seemed like he was angry all the time," and I did not see that. But someone later said, I think Danny. No, Danny didn't make it. Well, someone who was Danny Goldberg. Yeah, whatever. I think Danny then said he was really worried about, the budget, the funding going over, that kind of stuff. That's the type of stuff he would worry about.
Right. What? So, what is it like? I mean, 43 years later, you certainly would have had no idea at the time that
No,
you in the year 2022 you'd be talking about this movie.
no, 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 no.
And does
No.
what's it like? I mean, I've talked to a lot of musicians, and you say, well, what's it like when you got to play that same song your whole career? What's it like as an actress where you've done plenty of other stuff? And we're going to talk about Night Court, and I want to talk about Chips and some other shows you've been on. But is it a good feeling that people are, still coming up to you about this movie?
Oh yeah, I absolutely, because it's even I went out to I'm in New York now. I went back to California recently with a friend, and we're staying at my son's house, and he says, "Oh my gosh, Mom, Meatballs is on. Let's watch it." And I'm like, "Okay." And I think I actually posted a picture of me, a scene I'm in with me. I took the picture, but it was fun to make. Bill was amazing, and somehow that insinuates itself into everything about the film. Right? People loved it. I can't tell you how much I've seen it quite often. I have a very cute story that my son will hate because he's in the next room. But when he was little, we were living in Williamstown, Massachusetts, and I said to my girlfriends were like, "Well, let's get together and watch Meatballs." Or maybe I had invited them, and he said, "Mom, I can't believe you're inviting people over to watch you in a movie." And then I think a week later, it was on HBO. And I think he's in the first or second grade. I don't know. He's in the back, and he goes, "Mom, you're on HBO."
That's pretty cool.
I know.
Um, Now, speaking of Bill Murray, we're going to play a clip, and then we're going to get on to talk about other stuff besides Meatballs tonight. But I just saw a video where Bill Murray jumped up with a Rhode Island band called Steve Smith and the Nakeds and sang a song with them. And there's been a lot of Bill Murray because I think he goes to the Vineyard in the summer, and so there's a lot of like Rhode Island sightings of Bill Murray. So if you're watching Bill, come on down Saturday, and you guys can reunite. We do want to play a clip from Meatballs to refresh people's memory, and you see the whole thing on Saturday night. But go ahead, Ben, play that clip.
I know something, Al. What? This is a very serious moment. It is? Don't you know what tonight is? Tonight's our 3rd anniversary. 3 years ago tonight we met.
Oh, that is serious. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Happy anniversary.
You know, Will's Furniture, you're really a nice guy.
Come on, let's dance.
Oh,
Come on.
no, I don't know.
1, 2, 3. Simple as that. Come on, let's dance. All these you far.
You were putting him clearly in the friend zone.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this: the comment that or question rather, which I thought would pop up or will pop up at any minute, is, "Wow, your voice seems so much deeper in the movie." And I have to say, yeah, that's because I got sick and had laryngitis for a big portion of the film. So it's funny for me to see myself and hear me going because I was drinking hot toddies and whatever, trying to all those herbal cures. I don't know.
Well, Saturday night, folks, if you're watching, we're going to have Kristine here at the drive-in, so you should come on down. It's going to be fun. The gates open at 6:30. The movie starts at 9. She's going to be here from 7:30 on, and we're going to do a Q&A just before the movie, and we're going to have fun. Now, let's talk about some of the other stuff that you did. Number one, you were in one of Jackie Chan's first English-speaking movies. How did that one come about?
That's an interesting one, actually, because Raymond Chow hired me for the part, and then I was with a friend who he was driving, and I'm in the passenger seat, and we're in an accident, and I still have the scar, and I went through the windshield or just hit the whatever, so I end up in the ER, and they waited. And at the time, I think it wasn't later until you realize when real life hits you, or when you're young, sometimes you just don't thinking back, I didn't think that was strange, or was just like, oh wow, thank you. But it's like, seriously, he wanted me for the part so badly that he waited for my eye to heal before shooting? That's crazy.
That is crazy. And you were also played the girlfriend of Richard Gere.
And those both are my favorite things to say. I was Richard Gere's first, and I was Jackie Chan's first. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now, the ladies will want to know, well, anyone will want to know, what was it like working with Richard Gere?
It's so funny. Yeah. He was lovely. He, very sweet, but I think very, he's coming in. I think it was his first film. So he didn't seem to me like he was nervous, but I think as a guy, he was just trying to not look nervous, maybe. He just was very focused on his acting and his work, which is great. And I thought he was really, really cute at the time.
We got the Jackie Chan picture from the previous conversation. There's a good still from that movie. Now, tell us about the TV shows that you were in. First of all, I saw that you were an episode of one of my favorite shows from when I was a kid, Chips. So, what was it like when you started doing television and popular shows like that, all the way through to Night Court, and there's other ones that I'm not remembering in my head that you were on, but tell us some of those shows that you were on.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking I should pull up my IMDb page so I know what to, like, oh yeah, I made a movie with who, oh yeah, Linda Hamilton, look it up. No, you know what it is to me, they did not seem like, well, I mean, it's just so weird. When I was young, I just seemed to be in the clouds somehow in that it was just a job. It's like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do a good job and I'm going to go home. I don't know. It's like, I didn't even, it's just weird, I think, thinking back. Like when someone says to me, well, what did you think about working with so-and-so? It's like, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't get what you're saying because I
Yeah.
haven't been in the great stuff you've been in. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. What now? Did you take some time off from acting?
Yeah, I did. But hold on, I do have a great chips. You asked me about chips. Here's the
I
chips.
want to know.
It's one of my first television shows, right? And I'm standing there ready to do my lines, and all of a sudden everybody stops and they're all standing still and they're like, "Did you feel it? Did you feel it?" And I'm like, "Feel what?" It was a earthquake. But to me, I mean, I wouldn't have known an earthquake if I thought the second time it happened, I thought the refrigerator motor was on the blink. I don't know what but that I do, I remember that about chips.
Well, you went on the show and the earth shook.
Yes. Right. Right.
So now tell me about Night Court.
Night Court was great. John LaRoquette was amazing. I mean, there was really a great cast. The scene where I'm walking in the bathroom, the lady with the raspy voice, and it's like, oh my God, they were such veterans and so good and so talented. And it was incredible. I was excited. That was one show that I guess a lady caught up with me enough for me to be very excited to be there. And also the show is live. And here's the problem with that. We rehearse all week for a live audience. And then Fridays we break for dinner and then we do the show. Well, what happened was the producers came out and said they weren't keen on the opening scene, the scene where we're chatting in the very, very beginning on this couch. And so they said, here, you have to the scenes change, relearn all these lines. So I'm like trying to eat. And this is what happens in film and television. It's like the behind the scenes. I'm trying to eat and learn all these new lines.
But you did all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to. It's my job.
Is it hard to memorize lines?
I did Tennessee Williams, so I would have to say no. It's just like a muscle, right? When you're forced to use it or you use it a lot. I was pretty good at it.
And then you took time off from acting, right?
Yep. I didn't want to raise my boys there. I wanted to raise my boys on a farm like I was raised.
Well, that's good. And then when did you get back into it?
07. No, I went back out in 06. Maybe it was 07.
And when did all this, like these conventions and those sort of things, when did that start in your life?
I think my first chiller was like, maybe it's every couple of years, they say, but COVID stretched that out. So maybe my first chiller was 6 years ago. I don't remember because he called me. I can't think of his name right now, but the guy who does the chiller, and I should know his name. And
Mr. Chiller, yeah.
Yeah, no, not Chiller. No, I take it back. Chiller was not the first. It was was one in LA. And that's why I should know the person. I should know their name. But it was like, and my agent called and said, oh yeah, they want you're going to do this a signing. And I'm like, well, what is that? And then I was like, well, should I be doing that? I mean, I'm an actor. I want to act. Should I be signing? That I had that conversation with myself in my head. And then it's like, okay, why not? I think that was, I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe. And then
it's pretty recent, but it's pretty recent for you. It's a recent thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, 6 years isn't really long to most people. It is to a 12-year-old, but.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So that was the thing. When did you, 6 years ago, I started doing conventions.
Yeah. So how many times have you come to a drive-in movie theater? This
is the first time ever. I didn't even know this was this thing.
Well, it's not. We just made it a thing.
Yeah, well, I did, but then I think it's happened in other places because my friend Kelly Maroney also recently somewhere in Texas or something did an appearance at a drive-in. I'm like, wait, what?
It totally got revived because of COVID. Because during COVID, our drive-in, which we haven't been here a long time like some of these other ones around the country, but so many had closed over the years and things like that. And all of a sudden, COVID, it was like the only game in town for people to go do something social. And It really became a thing. And then having folks like yourself come, and introduce a movie and talk about a movie before we play it. So hopefully it's here to stay. It'd be fun if we could do this every summer and keep doing it. But
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's
good.
great. I mean, if
Well,
I
listen.
was in a town and someone that I would absolutely go.
Well, so we hope you folks out there watching, at least if you can drive to Westerly, Rhode Island, we don't want you to drive 200 miles with the price of gas, but if you want to, it's okay. But we hope if you're out there watching us tonight and you're in the vicinity, you'll come down on Saturday nights, and we'll have a great night and a lot of fun, and
Yes.
take some pictures, sign some autographs, ask some questions, and play a really cool movie. So, Kristine, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. And I look forward to seeing you this weekend.
We will,
And all of you as well.
We will actually meet on Saturday. That's wonderful. Well, all right. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay, you too. Thanks for having me.
You got it. All right. Kristine DeBell here on the Caswell Cooke Show, and going to be live at the drive-in in Misquamicut Beach on Saturday. So get your tickets now. It's only $25 for an entire carload. Put people in the trunk. We don't care. We don't count. Just bring them in, and come a little bit early so you can take a picture with Kristine and maybe get something signed. And we're going to have the Q&A on stage before we screen the movie and talk all about some of the things we talked about tonight. And maybe I'll have some more original questions by Saturday night as well. So thank you all for watching the Caswell Cooke Show. Thanks for watching us here on Misquamicut Beach, and we will see you Saturday.
Hey everybody, it's Avery Movie with some do's and don'ts when you come visit the Misquamicut Drive In Movie Theater. Do buy your tickets online. Don't bring cash. Do pull up to the stop sign for assistance. Don't park yourself. Do throw your trash in the waste receptacles. Don't be a litter bug. Do turn your lights off. Don't be inconsiderate. Do talk quietly during the movie. Don't yell! Do come to our concession stand to get some delicious goodies. Don't order delivery. Do buy our sick merch so you can look just like me. Don't commit identity theft. It's a serious crime. And remember, do have fun when you come to visit the Misquamicut Drive In Movie Theater.